Everybody ready? That was a heartbreaking loss for us this weekend. Again, I feel for the fans that came out to the game because, once again, they were extremely supportive of the team. They energized us. They were great during the game, loud at all the right moments, and we're just going to keep scratching and clawing to try to bring home a win for the fans because they deserve it. The summary from the game, from my perspective, from a coach's perspective, is we had their team backed up twice, once at the 8-yard line, once at the -1 yard line, with a 3rd and 21 in both instances. And we did not, on simple running plays, fit and tackle. And they converted on both of those, both that turned into scoring drives, which negated our chances to get the ball back and move it down the field to get a chance to tie or go ahead. Even when we did get the chance to move or tie, go ahead, we drove down and we had a field goal blocked. And then we did drive down and get a touchdown on the last drive and attempted an onside kick, which we were unsuccessful to get the ball back. There were a lot of positives from the game, but there are also, and we acknowledge there's a lot of things that we really need to address and work on, and we will address that and work on that, feverishly until we get it corrected.
Is there anything specific that you're going to try to change, or just keep doing what you do?
Well, I wouldn't say change is a word, but we need to do better. We got to tackle better. I mean, it's an obvious eyesore to anybody that's watching the game, to us as a staff, to the players. And there's a lot of things that go into that. Technique. Really the frustrating part is you got a lot of guys in proper position that don't execute the tackle. And we need to continue to tackle in practice. We need to continue to have additional tackling periods where we teach the young men how to tackle and how to tackle properly, and then ultimately it comes down to a willingness to tackle. And the disappointing part in that end, there was a couple that guys that were in position and did not make that tackle, and we suffered as a team as a result.
Can you talk about the way Jamil and Jordan are having a really good connection out there the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I'm very excited by that. They're two great kids, and they both have great work ethic. They work together in practice, and really when you see a great quarterback and a great receiver on the same page, it's exciting. And they're starting to develop that chemistry. They communicate well with each other. They're starting to understand each other a little bit more as far as what they're going to do as far as route running. And then Jamil's been throwing some nice balls, and Jordan's been doing a great job in traffic, concentrating and making big catches and making yards after the catch. So I think those two are just going to get better and better week in, week out, and they've got 2 years together. So that's an exciting thing for us moving forward. Well, we've gotten great production from our tight ends, which are a big focal point. Those guys have averaged, they have 26 combined catches, over close to 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's excellent production from the tight end position. Ian Hamilton's had some good production. He did not have a productive night the other night. But we only play with 2 wide receivers on the field at one time. So the other guys that have to be productive in the passing game are the tight ends and the running backs, which they have been.
Coach, since you've been having to play catch up quite a bit, have we seen the real UTEP offense yet? I know you said you went to ground and pound, but it seems like we've seen a lot of it.
Ground and pound is we want to be balanced. And, we're averaging 200 yards rushing a game, and we're averaging 218 yards passing a game. That's pretty balanced. We're averaging 33 points a game. 23 first downs. We've been close to 50% on third downs, and we've been 85% in the red zone. We've had time of possession of 33 minutes. Those are all positives. Probably if you compared those to last year's stats, probably dramatically increased in every category. So I'm very pleased with where the offense is heading. We want to be balanced. I don't want to go out and be a 300-yard rushing team and only pass for 100 yards, but I don't want to be a 300-yard passing team either and only rush for 100. We'd love to be balanced. We're very balanced right now. We need to be consistent. that's what's probably keeping us from being a good offense to take the next step, is be consistent all the time, consistent drives, and that goes with growing with the offense. But I've been pleased with the offense's progress so far this season, and in particular, the development of the quarterback. And, some other positives on offense. You look at the young freshman tailback. He's averaging 5.7 a carry. He's got 3 touchdowns. He's on pace to have a 1,000-yard season, which has never been done here. So there's a lot of good things to point to on the offensive side of the ball, and we're going to try to build upon those things.
What is it that Aaron Jones does very well?
He's got great natural running ability. Some things guys got that you can't coach. They have vision. They'll cut, and you don't see why he cut until you see it on film. Wow, that's great, a great vision play. But the thing I like about that young man is his toughness. He's not a big guy. He's 180, 85 pounds, but he runs between the tackles, and he breaks tackles, and he takes big hits, and he gets right up. And he's got a good understanding of the game. He's just a great character kid. And I'm excited about his brother. We are redshirting his brother, but he shows the same type of instincts on the defensive side of the ball. He just hasn't played there as long. So just a great football family. But, I love the young kid. I just think he's got all the tools and character that we're trying to build this program with. And he's just going to get better and better because he works so hard at it. Yeah, we got to start better. Offensively, we've been taking the ball down the field and scoring, but defensively, we've been allowing scores, and sometimes it puts us behind early. And again, we got to come out faster from a tempo standpoint. We got to practice that way. We try to do 2 huddles in practice to kind of simulate that fast tempo. And again, if you want me to point at one thing, is we got to tackle better. And I'm not sweeping that under the rug. We're not very good at tackling right now. And the only way I know how to correct it is continue to tackle and continue to teach the young men how to tackle and do it in a live setting where they can do it at full speed. But we're not even close there right now. And we acknowledge that. And until we get close there, it's going to be tough for us to win games. And but if we shore that up, I feel real confident that we can turn things around. And it's not something that's incorrectable.
Coach, Richard Spencer seems to have a nose for the ball. Do you maybe line him up a little bit differently?
Explain how you want me to do that.
Safety, I don't know, bring him up close to the line, maybe more effective.
He's up close to the line quite a bit. In fact, we were in an 8-9 man front several times. He did have a lot of productive tackles. But I'm not going to shy away from him either. He also missed a lot of tackles. He's got to get better in that category too. So there's nothing wrong schematically as far as what was set up. In fact, even on the long runs, every gap was covered. We just didn't tackle. And, that comes within the individual, and that also comes from technique. And we got to get better at those 2 areas. Probably every question you ask me about defense, I'm going to refer to tackling because that's our eyesore right now.
Coach, throughout all of this so far this season, you've really kept your composure and pretty much maintained the same sense of even keel up from line. Are you getting to that point though where you're almost reaching your boiling point? We haven't seen it yet, but maybe get to that spot.
You want me to do it right now? I ain't going to lose my composure. What kind of message does that send to the kids? Am I happy that we're 1-4? No, I'm disgusted by it. Am I going to point fingers at players or coaches? I'm not going to do that either. What I'm going to do is just continually work. I do know this. I'm going to work until this thing's squared away and heading in the right direction. In some ways, it is. In other ways, we got miles and miles to go. My job as a coach is to identify what the problems are, work hard to correct them, and I don't have a timetable on that. I'm not going to say, hey, by next week we're going to be the best tackling team in the country. That's BS. We just got to get continually better. And that comes with, personnel too. We're going to recruit hard, and we're going to recruit at positions that we feel we're inadequate right now. So it's short term, but it's also long term. But the day you ever see me quit on something or get frustrated or give up, that's what's gotten me to where I've been in my career. I don't get fazed by that. And I've been through some tough seasons, trust me, as a player, as a coach, as an assistant coach. You just keep grinding, you just keep working, and don't worry about what outside sources think or say, because I don't. And I just know what we got to do to become a better team, and it's my job to get us there. So I plan on doing that.
Just personnel-wise, do you have the talent to be a good tackling team, or is that just something that's going to happen?
That's a good question. I think we have the talent at certain areas. I don't think it's so much talent. We lack a lot of depth. In particular on the defensive side of the ball, and in particular on defensive line. I'll be honest about that, and it's something that we really need to shore up with recruiting and developing players. I'm not counting out the players that are on our own roster right now. We've got some good young players. When I think of guys like Edmondson and Nick Usher and those guys, it's up to us to develop those guys, and I think they'll be outstanding players. But we also got to do a great job recruiting there and get our numbers to balance. My goal here in the next 2 years is having the offense and defense balanced numbers-wise when it comes to scholarship players. I'm not going to tilt heavily towards one side of the ball or the other, and that's going to take a little time and effort, and we're going to put in the effort and take the time to do it.
What was the balance like when you got it?
Skewed a little bit more towards offense, but not using that as an excuse at all. But the numbers-wise was heavily skewed towards offense. But we can rectify that, and we can change that quickly.
Is depth the hardest thing to do in building a program?
Yeah, getting depth and getting quality depth. You want to sign guys that factor into the depth, and guys that, when you develop them in 2 years, you count on them being starters. So not just taking numbers, hey, we took 8 D linemen this year just to satisfy our needs. We got to get quality players at that position too. And I'm just using that position as an example, but that's an area where depth-wise, we're hurting a little bit right now. I point to our secondary, extremely young, but extremely talented. There's a lot of talent there. These kids just haven't played. I feel good about that position moving forward. They just need to play and learn through experience. And sometimes you got to learn through some hard experiences too. But I feel good about the direction that we're headed there as well.
How do you get your first home win in conference when you're Tulsa Saturday?
Simple formula for us would be no turnovers, which again, overall for the year we've been very good. We're +4. We've had 2 fumbles and 2 interceptions, and we need to get turnovers on the defensive side of the ball. I really think if I'm standing up here next week and we've won the turnover battle, we'll have a good chance to be in position to win that game. Offensively, we have to run the ball efficiently. If you've noticed, a lot of our big plays that we've had this year are off of play action passes that mirror our run action. And those aren't effective if you don't run the ball efficiently. We ran the ball efficiently the other night at 4 or 5 a clip, and we had some effective play action passes down the field. So that's what we need to do offensively and be more consistent in our drives. Defensively, again, it's going to sound like a broken record, but until we shore up our tackling and improve our tackling, it's going to be a struggle against anybody, in particular these guys, because I think this is the best running back that we've faced in Watts, number 22 from Tulsa. He leads their team in rushing. He leads their team in receiving. He's their best kick returner, and he's their best punt returner. He's a one-man band. He averages close to 200 yards a game himself. So our focus needs to be on him, and he's tough to tackle. He's got a great stiff arm. He's got great balance, and he's a special player.
They've been a little disappointing this year in terms of being picked to win the conference and they're going forward. You see
Yeah, I'm sure they're disappointed they're 1-4, just like we are. They played some really tough opponents when you throw out teams like Oklahoma and Iowa State, and even Bowling Green. People don't know much about Bowling Green, but they're one of the best teams in the MAC. And they graduated a lot of people last year, so that's tough to maintain all the time. But they're a good team. I really feel they're the best team that we've faced so far. And but what you've seen from them, they kind of struggled early with the run game. They've progressively gotten better. They ran for 230 yards against Rice. That's what they want to be. They want to be a physical team, and it gave them their best chance to win last week in a game that they probably, and probably a turnover or two went their way, they would have won. So I'm sure they're disappointed, and I'm sure they're getting it ready for this week just as we are. Yeah, and I'm excited about that. You know, the plan with Nathan in this past game was to get him about 10 carries, and he did. He got 9. He averaged 5 yards a carry. He did everything we asked him for. He was tough in short yardage, and that means he'll get more carries this week as he gets healthier. And getting him back healthy, again, gives us more options in the running game. There's some things that he does really well. Really great young man. What a worker. A lot of guys wouldn't have been back from that injury as quick as he did because he works at it. I'm also excited to have the potential of getting L.A. Dowell back too, who also adds another dimension to our running game. So we'll be healthy at the running back position, probably close to being the healthiest we've been all year. Yeah, he'll go back to corner, and again, because they played so much 10 personnel, 4 wide receivers, we need a little more speed on the field, and he needed to be in there covering the slot. He'll go back to corner. He had an ankle injury. We'll progress throughout the week and see where he's at with that one. But if we put our 2 best corners out there, it's him and Ishmael Harrison.
What about Yala?
Not for this week. Our plan is to get him through this week. He is progressing. He'll be doing some jogging and some pool rehab, and then we'll have the bye week. So I'm hoping after the bye week we'll have Adam Ayala back and Katre Ford back at full strength. 2 players that I'm hoping to get back this week, we'll see again as it goes through practice, is Wesley Miller, which, again, I cannot tell you how important he is to our defense. And also David Logston and L.A. Dowell, who are very important to our special team. So if we can get those 3 players back, I'll be very happy. Cockrell will be back as well, and he'll be right in there at the mix at the strong safety position, and probably be on some special teams. So that's another body we'd be excited to get back. And they're all in the same category. They're going to work this week, and we just got to see how they progress. Optimistically, I'm hoping to have all of them.
What do you say to the fans to keep bringing them back, Coach?
Just believe in us and believe that the kids are going to keep competing and that we're going to work our hardest to bring a win home. There's nobody more disappointed that we haven't had a win in front of the fans than me. And there's nobody that wants to win more than me in front of the fans. But just keep believing. I just can't emphasize how much I appreciate them, how loud they've been, how supportive they've been. And it's tough when you lose a game, when you lose close games like we have at home. And I just ask them to do the same thing we're doing. We're going to roll up our sleeves and go back to work, and we ask that they can come back and support us because there will be days where we're winning, and there will be days, where we're playing efficiently and we're doing the right things, and those guys sticking by us, that'll mean more to them when they do. Anybody else? All right, thanks, guys.